Hello all, welcome to Paritranaya IAS editorial analysis session. In this video, we'll be discussing and understanding the articles which have appeared in The Hindu's editorial of June 30, 2023. So in this article, first we'll be discussing about spiraling food prices. This will be the first article. The next article will be between two books, revelatory social history. After that, we'll discuss the article Greek recovery. Next, beleaguered, being a Muslim in New India. So these two articles we'll discuss next. And finally, we'll be discussing these articles. Has the Bhadralok culture in Bengal faded? After that, we'll be discussing about the article called as Off the Cuff. And one more, a small article related to the developments that have taken 50 years back. That is, US admits India first detected Chinese test. So these are the various articles which we will be discussing. So let's begin with the first article. So the first article is spiraling food prices. So in this article, we will be discussing from exam point of view. So we have extracted the points which are going to benefit us predominantly from the prelims point of view, and the same points can be quoted in mains exam as well, in the GS papers. So the first article is about spiraling food prices. It means it is in the context of rising food prices. So in this article, what are the various information that becomes important for us? So okay. So spiraling food prices. Sharp surge in the prices of essential kitchen staples. So which are the essential kitchen staples? Tomatoes, onions, potatoes, tur dal, rice, etc. So because of the rising prices, Indian households are struggling, because always Indian households, they want the price to be within the some threshold value, or it should be controlled. If the prices become too much, then it really becomes difficult, especially for those middle class and poor background. So here in this context, what are the important information that we are supposed to retain? So here, first, Consumer Affairs Department. So it has a price monitoring division. So probably a question might appear in the prelims, like which of the following department has a price monitoring division? And in order to confuse us, they may give some other department. They may say Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. In this fashion, in order to confuse us, they may give mismatching pair. So here we need to understand an important point from exam point of view. So Consumer Affairs Department, it hosts price monitoring division. Okay. So this article has appeared in the context of inflation. So whenever there is a rise in the price of commodities, then we say that inflation has occurred. So next question, whether inflation is good or bad. So whether inflation should be zero? No. Ideally, there should be some range of inflation. It should not be zero. But if it crosses beyond that threshold, then that will not be considered as good. It will not be considered as good. So what inflation is considered as good and what is considered as bad, we have discussed in a separate video about the inflation. So you can please refer that video in order to get an understanding about what is inflation and how it is controlled through various RBI's tools. Next, in this context, we shall understand what is the relationship between what imposition of stock limits and on inflation. So what is the major reason for inflation? Whenever the commodities are in demand. So when the demand will increase, when the commodities are less. For example, if the rice available in the market or tur dal available in the market is less, then more and more people will be interested to buy, but the commodity available in the market is less. Now what happens? The price of that particular commodity will increase. The price of rice will increase. The price of tur dal will increase. So that increase we call it as inflation. So there are many reasons, but among them one reason is stock. So generally what the vendors do is thinking that probably in the future the price might increase. So what they will do, they will not release all the stocks which are available with them in the market. So they will say presently there are no stocks. So anticipating that in the future the price might increase. So that is why government what it does is, in order to overcome the problem of inflation, sometimes it imposes restriction. That is, in a particular go down, you should not hold stocks beyond a particular limit. So what is the major reason for doing this? To contain or to control inflation. So imposition of stock limit is to address the problem of inflation. So government recently have what imposed restrictions, but despite this, there have been no significant reduction in the prices of the goods. Is what the writer highlighting here. Next, in this context, also we shall understand what are the various factors impacting prices of farm produce. So seasonality component. So based on season, the prices of some goods might increase and they may decrease based on season. For example, in a particular season, if some fruits are grown, then in that particular season, probably the price will be down. But after season, when the same fruit comes in the market, then generally its demand will increase and its price will also increase. So seasonality component, so this also plays a role. Next, time of the harvest. So when you have harvested and when you have brought the market, and when a farmer brings the goods to the mandis, to the market, so what is the prevailing price at that time? So all these various factors will influence the final price of the goods in the market. Okay. Next, here in this context, some words have appeared. Unremunerative prices. So what is meant by unremunerative prices? So when the prices are not sufficient, so whatever the cost has gone into producing those vegetables or other goods, so if you are unable to gain profit, then such prices we call it as unremunerative prices. So not important. Next, here we come across a website called as Egg Market website. So AG Market website. So in this context, we need to understand, or we need to explore for more information. What is that more information? So this website is maintained by which ministry? Whether Ministry of Agriculture or Ministry of Commerce. Okay, so we have to explore for more information. So here we also come across food prices could cause retail inflation. So now we came across a term called as retail inflation. It means there exists one more called as wholesale inflation. So in this context, we need to understand the difference between retail inflation and what is wholesale inflation. So how is retail inflation measured in India and how is wholesale inflation measured in India? So these concepts of retail and wholesale inflation we have already covered in a separate video. So you can refer that video in order to gain understanding of this retail inflation. So once you gain understanding about the retail inflation, then you will be able to connect the dots with the help of the content which is present over here. Okay. Next, so generally food prices, they could cause retail inflation to accelerate. It means if there is an increase in the prices of the food products, then definitely it may lead to increase in retail inflation. Okay, retail inflation. It means food is also a part of retail inflation. From this statement, we got to know that food is an important component of retail inflation. Okay, retail inflation. So probably a question might be posed in this fashion as well. So which among the following are part of retail inflation? If such kind of questions are posed, then definitely food becomes an important component of retail inflation. Okay, retail inflation. Next, monsoon rains 13% in deficit so far this year. So monsoon generally when it starts from June 1. Okay, so that is the textbook date. But this year the monsoon has been delayed. So until today, so it has been close to 13%. What deficit is there? So for good agricultural produce, we always need to have good monsoon. So improper monsoon will also have a negative impact on the prices of agricultural goods. So that has been highlighted here. Next, outlook for spatial and temporal distribution in the coming months clouded with uncertainty by El Nino. Here we come across a very important word called as El Nino. So it's a very important concept of geography. So detailed discussion about the El Nino we have discussed in our geography related videos, so you can refer the same. But here at the superficial level, we shall understand that what kind of impact El Nino has on India's agriculture or India's monsoon. So El Nino has a negative impact on India's monsoon rains. So negative impact. So what does it mean? Whenever there is a El Nino phenomena in India or El Nino phenomena, in that particular year, monsoon rains in India will be less. And if monsoon rains are less in India, then definitely production of food products will be less, or food produce will be less. And when food produce is less, automatically food prices will increase. So when food prices will increase, automatically retail inflation will increase. It means this El Nino, this phenomena, it has a consequential impact on retail inflation as well. So these things we should be able to connect. Okay, connect. Next, in this context, we also come across Reserve Bank of India. So Reserve Bank of India's economists, they have noted that the path to high but sustainable inclusive growth has to be paved by price stability. So here we need to understand the terms, what inclusive growth, okay, sustainable inclusive growth and price stability. So inclusive growth means taking all the sectors together, that is called as inclusive growth. So the growth which caters to everyone, that is inclusive growth. So price stability, when growth is taking place, we also need to what, maintain price stable. If price becomes unstable, then there is no meaning in growth. So here in this context, we need to ask the question, what is the goal of RBI? Whether the goal of RBI is to achieve inclusive growth or its goal is to achieve price stability. Price stability. So in detail, we have discussed about the RBI's goals in a separate video under the economic section. You can refer the same in order to get hold about the RBI's role in maintaining inclusive growth and RBI's role in maintaining price stability. Price stability. So this was about the first article. First article. Next, between two books, a revelatory social history. So if you look at the article is very big. So those who are from sociology background or those who have opted sociology as an optional, then probably for them it may be beneficial. But from general studies point of view, there are very less points which are going to be beneficial. And if you look at the editorial articles, every line seems to be important from mains point of view. But if you start noting every line, then it will be very difficult for us to do revision at a time of examination. So here predominantly we shall focus on points which are important from from Prelims point of view. So these points, same points can be even quoted in mains as well. So our predominant approach will be from Prelims point of view. Okay. So from somewhere in between the article, we come across Gandhiji's ideas. So what were Gandhiji's ideas? So his vision of India as a society that cares for rural civilization. Okay, so they mentioned that Gandhiji cared for development of rural areas and rural civilization, and also it is reflected in article number 40 of the constitution. So article number 40, it speaks about what? Gram Panchayat or village panchayats and all. So these were the ideas which were conceived by Gandhiji. Okay, Gandhiji, and finally it got the light of the day through 73rd and 74th amendment of the constitution. So this is very important from both Prelims as well as mains point of view. So in Prelims, what kind of questions they can ask? They can ask question like so whether Gandhiji had was in favor of rural civilization? Yes, he was in favor of rural civilization. So in the same article, we come across a word called as green revolution. So most of the beginners, we are unaware what is green revolution at all. So we have covered in a separate video what is green revolution. So when did it start? Who are responsible to starting it? Why did we start? And what were the consequences of green revolution? So you can refer that video in order to have an understanding about green revolution. Next, finally, there is one more article, not finally, one more article called as a Greek recovery. So again, it is international affairs related article. So we need to understand that whenever we are reading international affairs related article, so the articles, what it consists of lot of information, but here we need to understand the demand of the examination and prepare our notes accordingly, and it should be very, very crispy. So in this article, there are not that much worthy points which can be beneficial to us from either Prelims or mains point of view. So here we got to know that Greece and Turkey, both of them are neighbors. So whenever we find that Greek and Turkey are neighbors, on the world map, we have to search where is Greece present, where is Turkey present. Okay, where is Turkey present? And also from this statement, we get to know that they do not enjoy a good relationship. So that is why they are trying to establish a good relationship among themselves. So Greece is improving its overall relationship with Turkey to reduce geopolitical tensions. So whenever there is any kind of fights that are going on between two countries, generally we refer to them as geopolitical tensions. So if you are getting confused, so just for time being, skip it. Next, in the same article, we come across a sea called as Aegean Sea. Aegean Sea. So whenever we come across any seas, so they are very important from UPSC point of view. If you look at the previous year question papers from past 11 to 12 years, then every now and then frequently a question has been asked on sea. So generally what kind of questions will be asked on sea? So questions like, so which are the countries bordering the Mediterranean Sea, countries bordering Caspian Sea, countries bordering Black Sea, and so on. So similarly, whenever a sea appears in the newspaper, the first thing that we need to ask to ourselves is, which are the countries bordering Aegean Sea? So when you search, you'll get to know that Greece and Turkey, these are the two countries which border Aegean Sea. So apart from that, the extra information that we have to add is, which is the largest river which flows into Aegean Sea? Even these kind of questions have been asked in the previous year. Okay, so we have to focus on the largest river which flows into Aegean Sea. Next, we come across an article called as Beleaguered, being a Muslim in New India. So there is not even a single point which can be beneficial to us either from prelims or mains point of view. Just ignore this article. Next, has the Bhadralok culture in Bengal faded? So again, this is a very bulky article. So there is too much of information, but this much information would be more than sufficient from both prelims as well as mains point of view. So in prelims, what kind of questions they may frame? They may frame like this. So in which of the following states do we find Bhadralok culture? So Bhadralok culture, we find it in what? Bengal. Okay, Bengal. So what does Bhadralok consist of? So it consists of generally 3 castes. So Brahmins, Vaidyas and Kayas. So again, in this context, they may ask you a question like, in which of the following state do we find community of Vaidyas? Okay, so again, it is West Bengal. So such kind of questions can be framed. So the opposite of Bhadralok is Chotolok or Chotolok. So the Chotolok comprises of Shudras and Namo Shudras. Okay, Namo Shudras. So next, in this context, few of the other communities have appeared. So Koch, Rajbangshi and Matuas. So if you look at the previous year question papers, you will come to know that many times UPSC frames the question like, in which among the following state do we find these communities? So here they are not given complete information in the article. So you have to explore for more information. So Koch, Rajbangshi and Matuas, where they are present, in general we can say that they are present in the eastern part of India. Okay, eastern part of India. And if you want to be more specific, you can search whether they are present only in West Bengal or also they are present in the neighboring states. So this information will be beneficial from prelims point of view. Okay, prelims point of view. So here, off the cuff, there is an article. So there is not even a single point here important either from prelims or my mains point of view. You can just ignore this article. Next, we have here Lop Nur. So Lop Nur is a place present in China. So why it has appeared in now? So 50 years back, a nuclear test was conducted in Lop Nur. So here it was first reported by Indian Atomic Energy Agency. So from this article, what information becomes important from exam point of view? So they may frame a question like this. So in which among the following places is Lop Nur present? So it is present in China. Next, they may ask you a question like this. So Indian Atomic Energy Commission, it works under which ministry? So whether it is a statutory body or non-statutory body. So whenever any such organization appears in the newspaper, we should explore for more information like whether it's statutory, non-statutory, and what are the important functions performed by it. So based upon this discussion, you should be able to answer these practice questions. Okay. So you can comment the answers through our comment box. Otherwise, if you want to answer these questions in test mode, then we have shared a link in the description section. You can click on the link and answer these questions in test mode. Okay. So which are these questions? So imposition to stock limits on grains helps to contain food inflation. So to indicate whether it is true or false. So El Nino contributes positively to Indian monsoon. RBI has a goal of both growth as well as price stability. Turkey shares its border with Aegean Sea. Bhadralok culture appears in newspaper in the context of Assam. Koch, Rajbangshi and Matuas are the communities present in the western part of India. Vaidyas community is present in the state of Bengal. Lop Nur is the place in Russia. Atomic Energy Commission of India is the governing body of the Department of Atomic Energy. Atomic Energy Commission of India is a statutory body which replaced Indian Atomic Energy Commission in 1954. So these are the practice questions. So in this video, we discussed about the editorial articles of June 30. Similarly, in the upcoming classes, we will be discussing about the other important topics related to UPSC. For all our further updates, subscribe to our channel and hit on the bell icon. Thank you.